The shooting range echoes booming laughter and the sharp clack of reloading. Young men, SWAT hope fills on la enforcement trainings, brag loudly between shots. Then, she walked in. A quiet, middle-aged woman with a weathered face and a scuffero gun case. Sneakers follow her to the lane. She won't tell us a minute. Someone muttered. Varas eluded her weapon. Hands calm, eyes focused. The room began to fasten in Mars and detach a riffing over 10 years. Welcome to our channel. Let's get started. Once known as one of the most precise snipers in her unit, she now spent her days among books, tucked away in the checkout desk of a small-town library. To most who pass by, she was used Miss Mars, the soft-spoken librarian who recommended thrillers under her shelves with methodical care. But being her campus demeanor leave memories that never let her sleep. Memories of war, of shadows through scopes, and worst of all, of her only son. Dylan Mars followed in her footsteps, joining the police force and eventually the SWAT program. At her eyes, her quiet confidence, and her focus. But none of that mattered the day they died. The official report labeled it a miscommunication during a Igris hasty situation. Evelyn called it a failure of leadership, one that cost her everything. After Dylan's death, she withdrew from everything, the military, the reign, even her social circle. Petes de anxiety consumed her in silence. Crowds overwhelmed her. Conversations exhausted her. Guns triggered tremors in her hands. But grief has strange edges. It cuts, and sometimes it points. One evening, while organizing a stack of returned books, Evelyn found an awful attack between pages, a civilian precision shooting competition, open to the public, judged by professionals. A voice inside her stirred. She didn't register right away. It took weeks. But one morning, she stood in front of the mirror, holding the application form in shaking hands, and said aloud, "For Dylan." She entered the competition not to win, but to confront what she had buried. To face the metal and memory. To reclaim the calm she once felt behind the scope, not as a weapon, but as a witness to control and clarity. The event was buzzing with young men in tactical gear, muscular, loud, competitive. Most were in police training programs or SWAT prep. They eyed her with amused curiosity, the way wolves eye a sheep that wandered into the pack. She didn't wear tactical gear, used jeans, boots, and a faded green jacket with a military patch on the sleeve. Her gun castle looked older than some of the contestants. But Evelyn wasn't here to blend in. She was here to see the part of her that once steady under fear code still and true. Not for vengeance. For peace. The competition was half-4 when the announcement came. A sharp buzz over the intercom halted everything on the range. A nearby federal building, used 3 blocks away, a gun into lockdown. An armed man attacking hostages inside a conference room on the 6th floor. Reports were unclear, but at least 7 civilians were trapped, and negotiations were deteriorating fast. The atmosphere at the range shifted instantly. Laughter turned to tense silence. Several competitors snapped into action. This was their world now. SWAT candidates and duty officers began coordinating with the local precinct. Radios crackled. Vests were thrown on. Gearbox opened like emergency kits. A familiar call crept through Evelyn's spine, but her hands didn't shake. She moved closer, listening. Then, one of the officers spoke with a grim edge. "We need a long-range eye. Our sniper's out. Trapped in traffic." The backups grin as hell. That was her moment. Evelyn stepped forward. "I can't help," she said, her voice even. "It was recon Army. I confirm hasty resolutions. I veteran with Airborne SWAT. Let me take the shot." There was a beat, and then came the laughter. One of the SWAT trainees coughed. "Thanks, Grandma. We call you if it turns into a spelling bee." Another chimelin. "What are you gonna do? Throw a bomb at him?" Evelyn stood still. Didn't flinch. In no the building. In no hasty standoffs. "You don't have a team." But the commanding officer wasn't convinced. He shook his head. "We appreciate it, Mom, but this is a live operation. Liability is too big." So they went without her. Minutes later, a sharp sound cracked through the radio. A misfire. The backup sniper attacking a rush shot under a suspect. It didn't go down. Instead, the situation exploded. A barricade de hostages hyperincide, now fully aware was being targeted. Screams were heard over a live drone feed. Officers on the ground were frozen. The negotiator's voice cracked under pressure. The commanding officer turned pale. All right, Miss Mars. One chance. You take the backup rifle. You be supervise. You miss, you redone. Evelyn nodded once. No hesitation. No pride. Use focus. As the gear was rushed into her hands, the rain went silent again. Not with mockery disdain, but disbelief. The quiet woman no one talked seriously was now their last. Venció. The rooftop was quiet. Too quiet. Evelyn stepped out into the open air, boots crunching against gravel, rifle slung awkwardly over her shoulder. The wind tugged at her jacket as a younger officer led her to the makeshift sniper perch. The city sprawled beneath her, unused across from them. 6 floors up was the building where lives unin de balance. She crouched beside a mounted bipod and took a breath. The rifle wasn't hers, newer, heavier, unfamiliar, but the mechanics hadn't changed. Not really. Still, her fingers trembled as I adjusted the scoop. The rooftop faded for a moment. In its place came the screams of her past. A dim, sun-colored room in Kabul. The breathless hush of a sniper under pressure. The crack of a rifle. And then, the fly-wrapped coffin. Her son, his eyes, blue like hers, closing for the last time. She blinked hard, returned to the present, and adjusted her breath. A drone feed piped into her earpiece. Inside the conference room, the hostage taker passed erratically. One hostage was already down, confirmed dead. The others were huddled near the windows, trembling. "You have eyes," Sai whispered. "Keep them to yourself," slapped one of the ground commanders over comms. "You're backup only. Do not fear unless given the go." She didn't reply. Instead, Evelyn scanned. Her instincts started stirring. Something was off. The hostage taker's stance, his line of sight, his distance from the hostages. It didn't match the tactical model that Emma mapped out earlier. The police were focusing on their own flank. She clicked her radio. "Command, you're wrong on his blind side. Es left eye dominant, and descompensating. His weapons be modified for a reverse grip. You're exposed if you've reached north." Silence. Then, copy that. Who told her to speak? Another voice jumped in, her rooftop supervisor. "Says making sense. Recommend we cross-check." But the decision was too slow. The gunman screamed. A second hostage was dragged forward. The sound of a round being chambered echoed through her earpiece. Evelyn breathed through her nose. Everything in her tightened. Her heartbeat slowed. "Target will fire in 10 seconds," she said softly. Still, no permission. Use hesitation and bureaucratic fear. Mars, all fire. Do not take the shot. She looked at the glass panel that separated her from him. Calculated the angle. Saw the mirror in the corner of the room. Used as her sonance told her to read her own reflection for hidden threats. "God forgive me," Sai murmured. She took the shot. The silence that followed was unlike anything she'd ever heard. Then the glass shattered. The bullet screamed through the air. Struck the mirror used as calculated, deflected at the perfect angle, right into the temple of the hostage taker. It crumpled instantly. The hostage screamed, but it was a scream of disbelief. Of release. On the comms, silence like a breath. Then someone muttered, "No F asterisco 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 NG way." Cheering erupted inside the command van. She did it. She actually did it. Even the rooftop officer next to her turned, mouth open, speechless. Evelyn exhaled slowly and laid the rifle down. In the end, it wasn't the use the bullet that pierced the glass. It was everything she carried, the doubt, the grief, the ghosts. For the first time in years, she didn't feel broken. She felt like herself again. The building echoed with thunderous boots and shouted commands as the SWAT team stormed in moments after Evelyn's shot. They swept through hallways, clearing rooms with mechanical precision. When they reached the conference room, they stopped cold. All 5 remaining hostages were alive, shaken, crying, but untouched. And there, lying face down in a pool of his own blood, was the hostage taker. The bullet had entered at a perfect angle, bypassing the hostages entirely. No straw fragments. No que latre el damage. A single, impossible shot. Common stared at the live drone feed. No one spoke. Then the radio was. Target down. No further casualties. Room is secure. Applause broke out in the mobile command unit. Officers clapped back. One lieutenant laughed in disbelief. S'agit sab de mal. Within an hour, Helmut Kampfuti made its way to a local news station. The story hit the internet like wildfire. Unknown woman at shooting competition subs has this with impossible shot. Headlines bloomed. Experts analyzed the ricochet. Stand by the precision. Every media outlet wanted to know who she was. Back on the rooftop, Evelyn remained seated, head bowed slightly, as if in prayer. The borrowed rifle rested beside her. She hadn't spoken since attacking the shot. The rooftop access door slammed open. A tall figure marched toward her, young, square-headed, in tactical black. The original SWAT sniper, the one who missed, stopped a few feet from her. His face was flushed with frustration, embarrassment. "Oh, you disobeyed a direct order," said tightly. Evelyn didn't look up. "You were told to stand down. That shot could have gotten people killed." She finally met his gaze. Her voice was low, but firm, but it didn't. "Swallow, where did you learn to shoot like that?" "Afghanistan," said her simply. A pause. The young man nodded, more to himself than to her. The resentment in his eyes added, replaced with reluctant respect. Hell of a shot, it mattered. Then he walked away. Evelyn stood, brushing dust off her pants. Sirens still violated in the distance, and a news chopper hovered overhead. Someone called her name from the stairwell, likely a reporter, or maybe one of the commanders finally realizing who she was. But she didn't respond. Instead, she slung the rifle over her shoulder and walked the other way, toward the fire escape. Down the side of the building, away from the flashing lights, the applause, the viral headlines. She didn't want credit. She didn't need validation. She came for her son. She fired for him. And now, she returned to silence. To peace. In the days following the hasty rescue, the city buzzed with talk of the mysterious woman sniper. The mayor's office sent an official invitation for a medal ceremony, completed with press coverage and a public commendation. Evelyn declined. She sent a polite letter thanking them but insisted her actions were not for recognition. Instead, she turned her attention to something that mattered more. One morning, she found a handwritten note in her library's inbox. It was from a young police academic named Alina, one of the few women in her class who was in the footage and recognized Evelyn from the range. Alina wrote how she often felt dismissed and underestimated, until she saw Evelyn prove them all wrong. Evelyn met her for coffee. That meeting sparked something new. So on, Evelyn began informally mentoring Alina and a few other women in tactical training programs. She listened more than she spoke, shared techniques when asked, and offered guidance only when necessary. Her quiet strengths became a lifelong fortress in navigating the mal-dominated world of law enforcement and military prep. Word spread. What started as a single conversation grew into a modest support group, small but deeply meaningful. At a precinct award banquet weeks later, the SWAT commander who once dismissed her took the podium. He publicly acknowledged Evelyn's contribution and skill. With an uncomfortable but genuine tone, he offered an apology, admitting the team's mistake in doubting her. Cameras caught Evelyn sitting in the back row, expression unreadable. She didn't clap, but she nodded. One crisp Sunday morning, Evelyn walked alone to the cemetery, carrying a small bundle of flowers and her old military patch. She knelt at her son's grave. The silence was different now, no longer heavy, no longer haunted. She traced her fingers over the engraved name and whispered, "You mattered," and it didn't forget. A breeze stirred the lips as if in response. She smiled softly. For the first time in years, her heart felt light. The shooting rain hadn't changed much. Some dust, some noise, some swagger from our trained egos. But this time, when Evelyn walked in, no one laughed. In fact, most were silent. A new signal van mounted above the registration window. Respect every trigger finger. Some said it was inspired by her. Others weren't sure. Evelyn never asked. She simply nodded to the rainmaster, who greeted her with a respectful, glato si yuvak. Shitok lane 7. Her usual now, andun si pede skufedol case. Her hands moved with quiet precision. The rifle glinted in the light, freshly cleaned and tuned. She loaded one round, lined up her breast, and fired. The bullet struck the center. She didn't smile out of pride. She smiled because it no on her head. This wasn't about war, or vengeance, or proving anything. This was healing. This was peace. This was Evelyn Mars.